My name is Vaibhav Gupta. I'm part of HSBC, heads the business banking for South India, based out of Bangalore.
What are you in charge of? What is your core focus?
So my core focus is the SME business, which ranges from startups to the medium-sized businesses. So essentially from startups to about $100 million odd businesses. I handle the both sides of balance sheet, which is taking money from the customers and giving money back to the customer. So simple business.
Can you share some fun story from your business process?
Every day is a fun because the kind of customer profile I handle, it's a very interesting job because you meet startups, you meet young college graduates, you meet conventional entrepreneurs, you meet generational entrepreneurs. So it's a very wide spectrum of customers we deal with.
One story that comes on top of your head that, okay, this was very interesting.
Well, I remember one of the space tech startup, which is there of your one of your panelists, and I remember them meeting him in IIT Madras when they were actually getting incubated at a lab. This was about 5 years back, and and when you meet such people, it gives you a very different perspective because when we are in a banking, then you have a very old conventional perspective of banking and what the business is all about. But when I met those founders in a small lab in IIT with just some stools and chairs, I was zapped. Okay, and today they are one of the largest space tech startups. So that gives me immense satisfaction and a pride that people are able to identify them at a very early stage, and that's the best parts. I'm not sure if it's fun, but certainly satisfying.
Absolutely. We're talking about Pixel.
I won't name the startup. Yeah.
Why?
Client confidentiality is the most important thing.
Okay, so they are your clients also.
Yeah, that's how we got them. That's how we got them in the IIT Madras lab.
But I would have been proud of the clients and mentioned them and promoted them.
That's good enough now.
What brings you to Bangalore Slush?
I think we are fairly a very active player from a banking perspective in the startup ecosystem. Slush being a very international platform for startups. And in fact, we being one of the biggest players for the startup from an international banking perspective, obviously not just only from international but from domestic perspective, I thought it might be relevant for us to look at those startups which are now upcoming and looking at both domestic as well as international aspirations. And we have certainly found to have found some good and upcoming ones.
And how has your experience been today?
I think it was great. I think I think after a long time, I could see an event which is very electrifying. The energy is very high. And I think the kind of profile of people who have come for this event is certainly a bit notch above than what we have seen in the rest of the events.
Wow. What is the challenges that people face related to banking that HSBC is solving?
First of all, many of the banks have startups in the retail banking segment. Our startup vertical falls in the commercial banking segment. So therefore, we don't treat startup as a retail customer. We treat startup as a corporate customer. And hence, that's the most value add we have been able to bring, is that we have handholded startup right from that corporate perspective. So we have tried and instill the corporate practices from a banking perspective into the early stage startups, giving them the technology. The same technology is available for a small startup and to a large startup. So therefore, there is no differentiation in terms of the size. So therefore, we have kind of democratized the banking from that perspective. You're not made that you're a small or a big. Everything is equal for us. And that's the reason why we have found a very niche for us is the international banking. I can challenge no international bank today can support the startup the way we have supported. We have plenty of startups. We're not just banking in India. They're banking us in multiple geographies under the same net banking platform. Today, no bank in India can do this.
In fact, I'm a witness to that. I had got a recommendation of HSBC for a company which had international directors in it. So how does it benefit? What things are smoothened out because of that?
So you have one common net banking platform. We have a global relationship manager concept. Wherever your headquartered is, there will be a relationship manager assigned. So you have a very connecting link. You're not left orphan in one country and orphan in another country. So it's a global connectivity. That's the one thing, and therefore there are commercial benefits of dealing with one bank in various geographies. You have better cost control, you have better oversight on the accounts, you have better discipline from that perspective. And hence that's the reason why a lot of customers want to bank with us. And therefore, We also help you in terms of getting reference checks for some of the counterparties you want to deal with. You want to get understanding the regulatory environment of that country. We can help you with that. So there are plenty of benefits which HSBC brings on the table for not just only for startup but for any international customer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, I didn't get